got to take everything out of there. There you go.
Oh, what the hell is that?
That's a tea bucket.
We got a bunch of parts in there,
So crazy,
so we're gonna have to take that stuff out. What do you think?
That's wild.
Isn't that cool?
That's wild.
All right, so
Cool.
obviously the framing stuff isn't there, but I have a bunch of parts that we're gonna bring in. I don't know how much we'll be able to work on in class before we have the actual garage here, but at least this gives us something to start dreaming about, right? I'll set it right here's good. All right, so that's the start of a beautiful relationship. All right, guys, we'll get you down to lunch and we'll mess with this when we get back. The thickness of that's about the right height. You guys look like you're in there the right way.
Yep. That's pretty nice.
So what do you think?
Yep. I mean,
This is a nice, like, level car.
You got good foot room?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got plenty of foot room. So the brake pedal will be that tombstone looking hole. You wanna try it?
that big old long shift knob will be good for that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
It'd be hitting your knees otherwise.
14-inch windshield.
This thing is.
So that's recording now. All right, guys, John from Eastern Hot Rodder, and we're here with the high school hot rod project. We're going to put the spindles on the front axle today. We're here with Zaylen, Ethan, Aubrey, and Izzy behind the camera right now. So the other day, off camera, we had to sand the powder coating off the axle a little bit to get the clearance we needed for the kingpin to drop in. So the kingpin will drop down through and rides on this bearing, which sits under here like this. If this was too short, we'd have to put shims in it, which this was all pre-fit with the shims that it needed, but it was before it went to powder coat. So once it came back from powder coat, the thickness on the powder coating on the axle and the spindles was enough to use up the one shim it needed on this side, and we were able to take off 2 shims from this one here and not have to sand the paint off. So we're going to go ahead and show these kids how to get greasy gross. So come on over, guys. So this is, okay, so
Use
here,
this?
yeah, use that. All right, so they greased them all up, and that was the cleanest my hands have ever stayed, greasing bearings, because I had these guys do it instead.
How do you have so little on you?
I heard it like my.
All right, so spindles are directional. They have a, hand me that was it.
Stop stealing my rag.
You can see this one here, it's got that pitch on the angle
Okay,
there.
I should put my pants.
This way, it's going to pitch them up too much, so it has to go big side on top on these particular spindles. These are Ford style spindle. You can also do a Chevy style spindle, which is the nice thing about the Chevy spindle is one is cheap disc brakes, and also they're heavier duty on the pin here is a little larger diameter. But the aftermarket stuff's good and strong. So that would sit like that to keep that kingpin angle at the correct angle, because these are not straight. On the pin, there's a divot in the shaft there. I don't know if you guys can see that divot right there. And that'll line up with the lock screw. Okay, so that lock screw is there just to hold that in place. So what we're going to do is this bearing goes on the bottom. You want to make sure that your open side's down to help keep moisture out of it the best you can. You don't want to sit like that to get out of the water. So the spindle's going to come up down here. And this one already has the steering stuff in place. And what we want to do, see where that lock screw is, we want to keep the flat of the pin facing that lock screw.
Yeah.
So that way when you lock it down, it doesn't turn, work its way up and out. This will slide down like this. It's gonna slide in nice.
Because I'm actually pressed not to not with that Christian.
Then we can force that bearing in there.
I don't want it. But I'm still mad about the fucking it was $2. Oh.
See what's going in right there.
Nice.
And then this.
I don't think there's much editing on that camera.
Not really. It's kind of like a one-shot deal. Okay, that's the a lock screw that we're actually going to take that one out first because I want to put a little blue Loctite on it. you don't have a lot of room to work, and unfortunately, we would have more if this bracket wasn't there. This is for the disc brake, and that's the steering arm. But the other side's worse because the clocking of the hole was not quite right.
It's unpleasant.
We got some thread locker on. We got both these sides set together, and we have to get to this pin here. In the camera around here, you see this should have been clocked a little different to get that out here, because see how tight that is to this? Don't have a lot of room there, and I don't know that this is actually gonna fit in there. It might. No, we're gonna have to match that up with a small bit. Pull that out, put the thread locker on there. Let me get the right tool for it. You can stop the camera for now.
Stop the camera.
So Ethan's tightening up that set screw. You can see how tight that is there. You come over your shoulder, Ethan, I'm sorry. It's hitting the back of the spindle because they didn't clock that really where it should be. He's going to snug that up there. We got our notch here. So that's lined up right with it where it needs to be. Zaylen's doing the ever important part of holding the axle down so it doesn't flip up on us. But there we go, guys. That's our first start of putting this together. You guys are the first ones to bolt something onto the T-bucket kit. What do you think?
No, I feel
Accomplished?
Yeah, I feel accomplished.
Very cool. All right, guys. So we are working on putting the front suspension on the T-bucket. Now we're not mounting it up permanently because right now the T-bucket's sitting in my classroom, and that's the only door that I can get out of. So we will not be able to assemble it completely in here. So we're just doing some mock-up stuff, waiting on our shed to get here to build it, or we're going to end up building it in the hallway. So we got our tube axle set. This tube axle came from Ron Pope Engineering, RPM Engineering. You can find them online. The frame itself and the body came from Spirit Car Industries. Again, you can find them online. And the brake kit we got came from Speedway because we're using the Speedway arms, the flat arms that Speedway offers, because we're stuck with those arms because the Pope axle on this, or the spindles here, I don't know if the spindles came from Ron Pope or not, but they have the grease fitting dead center, which prohibits us from using the other kind of steering arms. So we ordered a disc brake kit because the kit that came with it won't work with the arms we have. So here's all the pieces here. And today these kids are going to learn how to pack bearings and get all this stuff assembled on here. So the caliper bracket's just loosely set on there right now. We're going to bolt those on. We're going to use the existing steering arm here and combine all these things. So follow along. You saw in the first part of the video where we greased the bearings for the kingpins. This is the wheel bearing that we're going to grease. This one fits in here, and the smaller one's going to fit on the other side. So after we put this one, we got to put the seal in. So we got to get greasy. So the easiest way to do it, take a bearing. Okay. You're going to stick your fingers through it like this. You do not want to let this spin.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're going to take a big old blob of grease, put it on the palm of your hand. Okay. Right-handed or left-handed?
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Put a big old blob on your hand like that. Even bigger. Okay. Okay. Now take this. You're left-handed, right? Okay. Let's clean All right, if you don't get grease all over the place on your arm, then you're not doing it right. Okay, take that. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna take and you're gonna scrape this and force the grease up in there, and it's gonna force the grease out of these needle bearings. So you just, like this, so here, hold on. Right. So you just do this, scrape it. See how I'm just scraping it?
Yeah.
Keep going, and you'll see it. So we filled up the inside of the rotor with some grease too, and that's the one that Hunter finished up. I'm going to set the seal there. And we don't have a seal driver here, so we made one out of a 2x4. So that's all there is. That red that's around that seal, that acts like a glue, and they'll glue that seal in. And now we can flip this over. And before we do more, we'll add some more grease to the small bearing area. And you can set that right in there for now. There is no seal that goes on there, so you can set that one in there.
Like that?
Yep. Just put a little bob in there. Get it all over on that race.
Look at those.
You got a half
got a beard, bro.
This is probably a spacer. This is gonna be.
Hunter's got a half stash.
It does too.
Let me see that half stash.
They don't make fun of you.
Let me see, man.
Yeah, let's see that.
Don't got a half stash.
Doing all right.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling all right.
So. That's capital P for there now.
You zoomed in on it too.
So they're good and waiting for us now. So we can throw a few things away. All right, that's, at least we got something done.
Yeah, now I gotta wash my hands. I don't know.
What do you think about What do you think about it, Mr. Warden?
I think we're doing all right. I wish we had the spacers to be able to put on the caliper bracket. So.
But you saw it. You saw it.
Oh, wow. We can't put that in here.
So we got the washers today. Zaylen, he's got this. He's tightened these up here. This is a lock nut, and he's got the 2 washers on the back side here. So when this arm tightens up against there, it's gonna bite in real well. Hunter's working on sticking that side together there, and I gotta get him the socket for it. Yeah, so you got it.
Boy, on here.
See it working. He's got it just about done. So he's getting the washers on that backside there, and he's going to start that lock nut. Can't get too far on there with the lock nut, but he's getting it started so I can tighten him up. It's going to take a while to get those on there because it'll feel like it's cross-threading.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because it's a lock nut. They hold it real tight. This makes for a nice kit. It's the same kit I used on the Willys, except I set mine rear steer because I had the room. So this moves the caliper bracket in there, and then the rotor. Here's their spacer. They came on the spindles already, but that'll space it out. Your inner bearing will ride on that. Caliper fits on, or the rotor fits on there. Caliper slides right over. And then you got your steering arms. So we might go back in and change these steering arms a little bit later on, but we're working with what we have because the Ackerman angle isn't going to be quite right. So an Ackerman angle, this hole here is a visible line going through the kingpin towards the center of the rear axle. So really it should be out about here. So we're off about here. So We're off by about 1.5 inches, 2 inches from where it really should be optimally. When this is all bolted up, it'll be a little closer. But it'll be out a little bit, which will scrub the tires a bit, but it'll still go down the road safe. They've been doing that for years. I've seen a lot worse than this will be. So make it the front steering arm. Look at that. It's all coming together.
So we're done tightening the bolts up.
We gotta wait for that one. It's the only one we have that has that Allen. So the Allen is using the Allen wrench. All right, so here you can see we got the steering, flat arm steering arms. These are Speedway. It's got a Ron Pope axle. I'm not sure who made this, but it has probably Ron Pope or possibly Speedway. Generic spindles, which are early Ford style, 37 48 Ford. So the steering arm's back bolted on here. 2 flat washers to space this out so it's not hitting on the edge. And we could still get to our grease fitting when you turn the wheel. You'll be able to get to the grease fitting there, top and bottom, no problem. Got our caliper brackets on, so the next thing we're going to do is the rotors.
Very nice, very nice.
Very greasy. All right. So when you start, yeah, you can do the other side. Watch that. Bearing's going to want to pop out of the front there.
Might have to hold them.
Get over here. Hold on a second. Okay. Keep pushing all the way till it seats. Push all the way back. Should be. Spacer.
We gotta do that like montage music. Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, this thing's all open.
Big man having problems with small plastic.
It's tough.
Come
Plastic
on.
bag they got in there.
Yeah, it is tough plastic, man.
It is thick. Okay, see how that has a groove?
Yeah, just stick. Okay.
So it's gonna slide on that. Does that letting you go in more? Maybe we don't need that.
It's firm.
No, it's not gonna work. Let's see. Let's get it back. Oh, we're not.
I need to push back.
There we go.
Oh, oops.
That's where it's gotta be.
Yeah, guys, we would have done.
You'll get it one day, Zaylen.
There you go. So
I don't know what I'm
spacer. This is the first time you did it. First time you ever did this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just
Okay.
We'd done had an accident right there.
We still got it.
That would have been really bad.
That's right.
Spin this sucker on there. Other way.
that worked.
We could edit that.
Can't edit that out.
How do you get that tight?
So you don't want to go too tight with it. So I'll show you how we're gonna preload that.
Whoa, whoa.
Go ahead and crank that right down as hard as you can with your fingers because you're not gonna be able to put it on hard enough.
Where is that? Gotta get the pliers out.
Yep.
All right, so we don't want grease on that. I'll have to clean that off. So we want to crank this. See now you can't turn that, right? That packs, seats the bearing.
Oh, it seats it.
Yeah. And now, see now it spins nice and free. So that lines up with the hole, and I'll show that on the camera. So now we got a hole. Point to that hole, would you?
This one.
Yeah, right there. So that's where the cotter pin's going to drop through. So that seats the bearing. Cotter pin's going to drop through, just like that. And we'll grab a pair of pliers, and I'll show you how we do those. That's just there to keep that nut from backing off.
I was wondering why I had these little.
Yeah, that's how you can line up wherever it needs to be. So you take one of these,
Oh, that's weird.
bend it up over
I've
like
never
that,
seen something like
and
that.
you can either twist this one sideways or you can cut it right off.
Just cut it.
Because once it's done, it's on.
Just right
So that's
there.
on. Now you pop the dust cap on. That's going to go on there and give that a nice little pop. We're going to seat that around the edge. You might have to use a little screwdriver and a hammer to pop that on. But once that's seated on there, you're all set. And then we got a disc brake. Where's our button to stop this? Hunter, watch Zaylen on the other side. You got to make sure we don't get any grease on that face of where the brakes are going to run. Want to keep that as clean as possible. Is that in all the way? Spacer? Check. Yeah. We're always doing stuff that's super important. Looks so much more complete just having a few things bolted on there, doesn't it? So we painted those rotors with silver wheel paint to give it a little bit of contrast against the black. I got all right here. You just tighten that up until you can't spin the rotor. Keep going. A little bit more. Might open the channel up a little bit more. There you go. There you go. Okay, we can back that off.
The hole ain't lined
Yeah,
up.
back it off until that hole. Once you see them, right there, perfect. And then just gotta drop through. Make sure you see how the shape of it, keep the head of it. Like, look at, oh, it's the same one. Yeah, there you go. Put it in any way you want. Cool. You can actually spin that. Let's say you turn this around this way. Use this. Grab that bottom, bring it right up to the top. Just the one, because there's two there, right?
Yeah.
Flip that teeth around on this, like that. There you go. Yeah. Right up top. Once you get it bent, you can. Like that.
Take this now.
Yep. Go ahead and snip that one off.
You do whatever you want.
Perfect. Now you pop that cap on there, and then we have that side done too. So these caliper brackets have the threaded part in here. So there's a caliper bolt's going to go in like this, right? And tighten down. But the cap has to go through the caliper first. What I wanted to show you guys is that it's going to float on here. That way it gives the caliper the ability to move a little bit when this is sitting over. And this is for the other side, but it'll still work. And gives it the ability to slide in between here on that pin. So they're kind of a floating caliper. And then the pads will sit there. So we'll have to load these first up with the pads, then we can slide everything together and we'll grease up the pins and put them in. So this is where that clip clicks in. Eli noticed that it fits in that little hole there like that. And then we're going to drop that in. And it holds it right there. This one still floats, but before we put that in, we're going to add a little bit of never sees on these slide spots here and get it messy.